communicating to the customer that, you're there to serve them and you appreciate, any feedback that they can give you. We're looking to provide quality in a space that's usually more of a value space. With everything with an exception to like the mom and pop pizza places.
Right.
People have their local one.
Sure.
But there's not really a chain out there, a small footprint chain out there that provides quality, high quality Italian cuisine and pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to show up early, stay late. You have to have that whatever it takes mentality, but you have to understand that it's going to take time.
Welcome to the Biz Life Podcast. I am Donnie Bedore, your host, and we are here to talk about the business life, not the busy life. Not in the studio this week. We're actually in Nashville, Tennessee at a World Expo conference with United Franchise Group and the Starpoint brands. So I am here with Austin Titus with Cannoli Kitchen and president of Cannoli Kitchen. And welcome, sir.
Thanks, Donnie. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's do this. I always like to introduce the guests and the accolades and stuff. So without me getting them all wrong, let you explain a little bit about yourself and where you came from and business history and stuff like that. So,
yeah, absolutely. So Austin Titus, I'm the president of Cannoli Kitchen Pizza, and we're a franchise company that's, the restaurant has been around since 1996.
Oh, nice. Okay.
For quite some time.
Yeah.
But the franchise concept has only been around for about a year now. And so it's new to franchising.
Okay.
But not new in general.
Absolutely.
And so my background is mostly all in franchising, as you could imagine, a family business. And so my dad started Sinorama in 1986. And, in between 1986 and today, we've partnered with and acquired a bunch of different brands. And when I was in school, I knew I wanted to be in the family business.
What'd you go to school for?
Just general business.
Okay.
I went to Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton.
Okay.
Right across the street from the first Cannoli Kitchen.
Nice. Okay.
I actually lived right across the street from that Cannoli Kitchen.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
that's how I knew the brand growing up. But, backing up again, most of my background is in franchising. It really is all in the B2B space, starting with Sinorama and a little bit with Fully Promoted as well. And when I got to the company first, I was in our franchise development space.
Okay.
And so I was in our franchise development department, became the manager and then director of the franchise development department. Did that for a few years, managed basically our entry-level sales team. And so I have a sales background there. Did that, like I said, for a few years, and then actually became the president of our emerging brands division.
Okay.
Which was an interesting role. We basically were acquiring brands, and we would have to develop, systems, processes, documentation, operations manual, franchise disclosure documents, that type of stuff for those brands. Yeah. Build them up to a certain point, and then we would plug them into one of our divisions, and then I would move on to the next one.
Okay.
And so I did that for a few years. And in that, one of those brands that we had started up was Network Lead Exchange.
Okay.
Which is a business networking, business referral franchise, similar to like a B&I type business.
Nice. Okay.
And we built that up. And I fell in love with Network Lead Exchange and became the president of Network Lead Exchange. Okay. And ran that business for about 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We built that franchise up to about 30 franchises. Yeah. And we ended up selling that franchise company. Okay. Yeah. And the opportunity came up to be a part of Cannoli Kitchen and kind of developing that. And I jumped on it.
Nice. Are you married? Wife, kids? Anything?
Yeah. Married. We have one almost 2-year-old. She turns 2 tomorrow.
Oh, well, cool.
And we have one on the way. That's due in September.
Nice. So. Whenever we left Texas to come here, my son picked us up, and he told us that they're pregnant.
Oh, so that's amazing.
I know. Be a grandfather. It's crazy.
Wow.
I know. So, well, cool. Very, very exciting. So those that are watching, thank y'all for tuning in. If you're on Apple or Spotify, appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share out. It really does help the algorithm and grow the channel. So the channel is really dedicated to the small business person, entrepreneur. Just to give some inspiration and some guidance, maybe some edutainment a few times. But yeah, I just want to dive in. What do you see as, you have a lot of experience with growing brands up, right? Through the business. What do you see some of the key factors are in getting a business off the ground, right? Going from either a brand new business or like, Cannoli Kitchen Pizza has been around for a while. But I'm sure there's also some factors there that y'all want to put some fuel on the fire to really, get the business going, right? Yeah. What do you think some of the key factors are in that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have differentiators in the business. You have to stand out, especially in a space that's super crowded like the pizza space.
Yeah, right.
Italian cuisine is America's most popular cuisine.
Yep.
And, you do have to stand out. And so you got to look at ways to stand out. You got to look at slash differentiators. And then you also have to look at, scalability. Is it operationally sound to where it can be scaled, in a franchise model. And obviously we focus on the franchise model. Not everybody does the franchise model, but either way, it has to be operationally sound to scale.
Yeah. Let's talk about those two things, right? Because I think, of course, one will apply to both, but the other one may not necessarily apply to everybody. So the differentiators, right? How do you make your business stand out, right? Because I have a lot of different trades that watch the show, like painters, roofers, things like that, right? There's a lot of roofers, there's a lot of painters, just like there's a lot of pizza places, right? What would be some good advice that you could give someone to stand out? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with us, we focus on quality and we focus on the customer experience. And so in our space, I think we're crowded, our space specifically, in value product. You have the lower quality and value type pizza places that are huge and they're very good at what they do, but we're looking for something different. And so we're looking to provide quality in a space that's usually more of a value space. With everything with an exception to like the mom and pop pizza places.
Right,
people have their local one, but there's not really a chain out there, a small footprint chain out there that provides quality, high quality Italian cuisine and pizza.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking to do. Yeah. And that's where we go for. And so that's the advice that I would give is focus on quality and the customer experience. Them coming to us knowing that they can, get their meal fast, affordable, and their expectation is going to be met.
Nice. Real quick, what's the difference between customer experience and just customer service?
Yeah, I would say customer experience is what the customer actually goes through when they're there and how they perceive it.
Okay.
Customer service is you trying to give the best customer experience. I guess customer service would be the action.
Gotcha.
And customer experience is them receiving it.
Yeah, no, I like that, right? And so I can see how, really putting thought into the whole customer experience, right? From really, I guess, the moment they would see an ad or talk to someone about your brand, right? That's customer experience as well, too, right? Good or bad.
Yeah.
But thinking about that and then coming all the way into the business, experiencing the food, experiencing the atmosphere, and then even after that, right? I know whenever we eat pizza, we typically take it home, next day. It's great for breakfast, right? And so just what that experience is, carries further and longer than just coming into the business.
Yeah, and the experience can happen on premise and off premise, where the customer service is really only happening on premise.
There you go.
And so that's really key to differentiate to your employees so that they understand that is they need to set the customer up the best they possibly can while they're there to have that good experience carry on when they get home. For example, like you said, you usually take it home. Yeah. And so we need to prepare it in a way that it's still going to be good and fresh and travel well to where you still have a good experience at your home.
Yeah. Not just throwing a pizza box and saying, here you go.
Exactly. Or when you're dealing with other products, pizza, carries well. When you're dealing with other products, you got to make sure it's packaged the right way so that, it doesn't get too soggy or, and so you can make it as good as you possibly can for the consumer.
Yeah. It's, talking about customer experience, right? Maybe some tips and tricks of, you're obviously in the food business, right? And we could start there. And that's really what I've noticed about business. That's what I love about this podcast is I can get many different businesses from different walks of life, right? Insurance agent, real estate agent, someone in the, Italian, food business, Graze Craze, whatever it is. And a lot of the principles apply in many different, categories, right? Mm-hmm. And so just that whole experience that whenever you are not at the restaurant or at the business, right, what were you left with, right? So I try to tell entrepreneurs and business owners, right, you really have to think about being front of mind whenever they're not with you, because no one ever really quits your brand when they're with you, right? It's not like, I'm going to go up to the counter and like, hey, I want a pizza and I want this. I don't know what you're on your menu yet, but I'm just throwing stuff out there, right? I want this, and then here's my money. Oh, by the way, I'm never coming back again.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they always quit whenever they're away from you, right? Now it all bases on the experience, right? But being front of mind whenever they're away is super important, right? So one experience that I've had in a restaurant, and not many do this, but again, tips and tricks or whatever. If you do own a restaurant, whenever hey, can I get a to-go box? Sure. Most of them are like, here's the to-go box, right? A few that I've had, a couple of those are mom and pops. Others are like, 4 or 5 star restaurants. They're like, let me take your plate. And they'll prepare it for you, right? And they put it in a bag, and it's like, here you go. And it's like, oh, wow, appreciate that, right?
And it works out better like that because they've done that thousands and thousands of times. You don't normally transfer a chicken Parmesan that's half eaten into a to-go box. And so you might flip it around and, it doesn't travel well, or you might put it in the wrong way and, or upside down.
Yeah.
And so you can control the experience a little bit better if you do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you can think of? Just, again, it doesn't have to be with necessarily a restaurant, but just another tip and trick on, what to think about in customer experience, right? And then we'll move on.
Ready to boost your business's impact? Fully Promoted Fort Worth is your one-stop destination for branding needs, specializing in branded apparel and promotional products. They help attract, retain, and engage customers. From custom uniforms to eye-catching items, Fully Promoted Fort Worth has you covered. Contact them today to unlock your brand's potential. 817-803-4404. Fully Promoted, your success, their passion.
Looking to elevate your office meetings, client gifting, or corporate parties? Check out Graze Craze, your one-stop destination for delightful catering options. Imagine impressing your colleagues and clients with our large charcuterie board, carefully curated with the finest artisanal cheeses, premium meats, and an array of accompaniments. And when it comes to client gifting, nothing says thank you quite like a luxurious selection of gourmet treats designed to meet your every need. Graze Craze, catering that leaves a lasting impression.
I would say, make sure that, when it comes to reviews in your business, obviously that has a lot to do with the customer experience. You have to, they say you have to have 1,000 positive interactions to get one good review, but it's one negative interaction will get you that one negative review. And so someone's way more likely to give a negative review than they are a positive review. So you have to work really, much harder for those positive reviews.
Yeah.
And so, communicating to the customer that, you're there to serve them and you appreciate, any feedback that they can give you.
Yeah.
My VP of Ops yesterday actually said it's the quiet ones that you have to worry about. The ones that don't say anything, because those are the ones that usually get to their car or get home and then they write a bad review.
That's a good point. Yep. Those that are willing to say, hey, I need to speak to the manager or whatever. And I mean, you want those, right? Because you want to be able to interact and fix those. But like you said, the quiet ones,
definitely. And you want to make sure that you're, like I said before, you're showing the customer that you want to do your best. As long as you're doing that, most reasonable people will be forgiving if you do make a mistake.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. A little joke my wife had said one time that she said, whenever I went to the Chick-fil-A line, they gave me the wrong food. I obviously should have ordered what they gave me, right? Because that was like one little experience, but it's backed by thousands of orders that's been on point 100% of the time, right? And so that one little bad experience, it's like, oh, well, I'm not mad. I probably should have ordered this, obviously, because that's what they gave me, right? So it's another way of looking at it.
Absolutely. And Chick-fil-A is obviously the standard for everybody. Everybody looks and says, we should model ours off of Chick-fil-A,
sure,
and they're fantastic to look at for all businesses.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Their customer experience. And and I just threw that out there just because it was a funny joke.
Yeah.
But, anyway. Yeah. So let's go in. Okay. So, how many brothers how many are in the family? Just so I can be clear.
So I've got two brothers. I'm the middle. So I've got an older
middle
brother.
child too.
Oh, there you go.
We got a lot to talk about off camera now.
Okay. I've got my older brother AJ, who's the president of Sinorama, and my younger brother Andrew, who's the president of Fully Promoted.
Yep. So. We interviewed Andrew on here, and also Miss Taylor as well too.
Oh, fantastic!
Not too long ago. So looking forward to their wedding. That's so cool. So
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, three cousins in the business.
Okay.
As well. So Brady, who's our COO.
Yep.
And Dustin and Shane as well.
I guess I haven't met them two yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both here.
Okay.
Everyone's here.
Good. I definitely have to meet them. So
yeah.
Very neat. All right. Well, let's go on to again, you've. The networking business that you talked about, right? I'm a large proponent in networking. Why do you feel that networking is something that every business should be a part? Is there any business that shouldn't be a part of networking?
No, I think it's a little bit different for each business.
Sure.
B2B businesses networking are going to be different than B2C, like pizza places for networking. Right. But it's all the same.
Yeah.
Topic. It's networking. All those networking groups are great. Chamber, BNI, Network Lead Exchange, anything like that. Fantastic to be a part of, but it is different. When I teach our franchisees for Cannoli Kitchen about networking, it's more of like the socializing networking.
Okay.
Whereas, going to the chamber, being a part of the community, going to the events, making sure that, everybody knows that you can do those big catering orders. When we're talking B2B business, you want to do that stuff, but then you also go a layer deeper with like a exclusive group like a BNI or Network Lead Exchange type group.
Yeah. No, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What do you see that is one of the greatest struggles that a new entrepreneur faces?
I would say really patience. A lot of today's media, on social media and everything, there's a lot of like the get rich quick type mentality. Like you become an entrepreneur and then you automatically kind of make it and you're driving amazing cars and, all that stuff.
I'll get there one day.
It's all BS, but you can get there, of course, but it's, I was listening to something the other day and the guy was talking about aggressive patience, which is, you have to have aggressive patience in order to be successful, which means, you have to show up early, stay late. You have to have that whatever it takes mentality, but you have to understand that it's going to take time. And the person I was listening to, said that it takes three things to be successful. It takes time, which is out of your control because you develop skills and make mistakes and learn from your mistakes over time. Right. It takes skills and it takes hard work. And so you can't teach hard work. That's just something you have to have. But those three things.
That's awesome. There you go. All right. So we're at the later end of the podcast. Typically, those that are watching that hung on us this long are my wife or maybe your wife. So what is something, tell me a funny story. There has to be a lot. I got two brothers, so I know, with having two brothers, there has to be some crazy stuff. So tell me a funny story.
A really funny story. One, there's so many, but I don't know why, but I just thought of this one. And if my brothers are listening to this or my dad, they're gonna really laugh and maybe be upset that I even said it. But we were all younger. We were actually on a trip in Italy. Okay. And we had extended family. We had rented out a big place, and my younger brother Andrew always had a very aggressive personality. He was very challenging. always challenged everything, even as a little kid. And that's why he's, so successful today as well. But when he was a little kid, it was very frustrating to my parents and all of us. Yeah. And so we were playing football in the backyard of this house that we rented. And I was guarding him and he was athletic and always a little bit more athletic for his age. Okay. And, it was not easy for me to keep up with him, even though I was a couple of years older than him. He was taller. He got taller at a younger age. And so, but I was stronger. And that's what I could do. I could beat him up. And so I would do things like grab him and slow him down and I'd, smack him around and stuff like that. And he kept getting really upset at me and screaming, "You're hitting me, you're cheating, you're doing this, you're doing that." And my dad's like, "What's the matter?" And Andrew goes up to him. He goes, "He hit me. He hit me just like this." And Andrew just smacks my dad right in the chest really hard. And I don't think my dad was wearing a shirt either. And just like slapped. And my dad, I don't know if I've ever seen him more upset.
I can't imagine.
The rest, I probably can't tell. But my dad grabbed him and took him aside. Yeah. But it was, my whole family would love and think that story is hilarious that I said funny. It. But
that is funny. How old were y'all at the time?
I was probably 13.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Something like that. Yeah. And he was
we had no sense back then.
Yeah, he was a couple years younger than me. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate it. And again, those that are watching, thank you for just following this along, right? Like, subscribe, share out. And if you're interested in the Cannoli Kitchen brand, right? Where would they go to if they're interested in your brand?
Yeah, we have cannolikitchen.com, cannolikitchenfranchising.com for anyone interested in the franchise information. Perfect. And you can follow us on social media as well.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time on The Biz Life. Y'all have a great day.